Welcome back to Legacy of Years. Today we embark on an epic journey through one of the most transformative conflicts in European history, the Great Northern War. This war wasn't just a clash of armies. It was a contest of empires, leaders, and ideas. It involved alliances, betrayals, and even British intervention. From the heroics of Charles XII to the cunning of Peter the Great, and from the rise of Russia to the tragic death of Sweden's warrior king, this is the full story of the Great Northern War. Grab a seat and prepare for a deep dive into a war that reshaped Northern Europe. Let's begin.
At the turn of the 18th century, Sweden was a superpower. Its territories stretched around the Baltic Sea, including modern-day Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and parts of Germany. But Sweden's dominance bred resentment. The neighboring powers, Russia, Denmark, Norway, and Poland, Lithuania, wanted revenge for past defeats and sought to reclaim lost lands. In 1699, these rivals formed an alliance, the Treaty of Preobrazhenskoe. This set the stage for the Great Northern War. The coalition underestimated Sweden's young king, Charles XII, who ascended the throne in 1697 at just 15 years old. But Charles, though young, would prove to be a formidable military leader. In February 1700, Denmark, led by Frederick IV, invaded Holstein-Gottorp, a Swedish ally. Augustus II of Poland, also the Elector of Saxony, besieged Riga. Meanwhile, Peter the Great of Russia advanced toward the Swedish stronghold of Narva. Charles XII responded with remarkable speed. By mid-1700, he forced Denmark to withdraw through a daring naval and land campaign. This was formalized in the Treaty of Travendal. Next, Charles turned east to face Peter. On November 30th, 1700, at the Battle of Narva, Charles achieved one of his most famous victories. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the Swedish army routed the Russians, inflicting over 10,000 casualties. It was a stunning blow to Peter the Great's ambitions, but it wouldn't be the last time these two leaders clashed. With Russia momentarily weakened, Charles XII turned his attention to Poland-Lithuania. His goal was to depose Augustus II and install a pro-Swedish ruler. From 1701 to 1706, Charles led a series of lightning campaigns, defeating Polish and Saxon forces at battles like Kliszow, 1702, and Fraustadt, 1706. By 1704, Charles had installed Stanisław Leszczyński as King of Poland. In 1706, Charles invaded Saxony itself, forcing Augustus to sign the Treaty of Altenstadt. Augustus renounced his claims to the Polish throne and ended his alliance with Russia. It seemed Charles was unstoppable. While Charles was preoccupied in Poland, Peter the Great was rebuilding. After Narva, Peter modernized his army, introduced Western military techniques, and constructed a new city, St. Petersburg, in 1703 on Swedish territory. St. Petersburg symbolized Peter's vision of a modern Russia, a window to the West. It became a base for Russian expansion in the Baltic. By 1708, Peter's forces were pressing into Swedish territories, setting the stage for a climactic showdown. In 1708, Charles launched an ambitious invasion of Russia. His plan was to march on Moscow and force Peter into a decisive battle. But Peter employed scorched earth tactics, destroying supplies and retreating deeper into Russian territory. In early 1709, Charles diverted to Ukraine, seeking support from the Cossacks under Ivan Mazepa. However, this strategy failed. The decisive moment came on June 28, 1709, at the Battle of Poltava. Outnumbered and weakened, Charles' forces were crushed by Peter's reorganized army. Charles was wounded and fled south to the Ottoman Empire. Poltava marked the end of Sweden's dominance and the rise of Russia as a great power. Charles spent 5 years in exile at the Ottoman court, trying to persuade the Sultan to declare war on Russia. In 1711, the Ottomans launched the Pruth River campaign, surrounding Peter's forces, Although Peter was at their mercy, he managed to negotiate his way out by ceding Azov and promising to limit Russian influence near the Black Sea. Charles, however, overplayed his hand. After provoking tensions in Ottoman lands, he was placed under house arrest in Bender. It was a humiliating episode for the Swedish king. By 1714, Charles returned to Sweden, but the nation was in crisis. Denmark, Prussia, and Hanover had joined the war, seizing Swedish territories in northern Germany. The British Navy supported these efforts to check Swedish influence. Meanwhile, Russia dominated the Baltic. In 1714, Peter's fleet defeated the Swedes at the Battle of Gangut, securing Russian naval supremacy. In 1718, Charles launched an invasion of Norway, hoping to regain momentum. During the siege of Fredrikstad, Charles was struck by a bullet and killed on November 30th, 1718. His death remains controversial. Was it an enemy shot or an assassination? With Charles gone, Sweden sued for peace. The war officially ended in 1721 with the Treaty of Nystad. Sweden ceded Estonia, Livonia, and Karelia to Russia, marking the end of its empire. Russia emerged as the dominant Baltic power, and Peter the Great's reforms solidified his legacy as the architect of modern Russia. The Great Northern War reshaped the balance of power in Europe. Sweden's fall marked the end of an era, while Russia's rise transformed it into a major European empire. Charles XII is remembered as a brilliant but tragic figure whose ambition led to his downfall. Peter the Great, on the other hand, established Russia as a force that would shape European history for centuries. The lessons of this war remind us that even the mightiest empires can fall, and even the humblest beginnings can lead to greatness.
Thank you for watching Legacy of Years. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Great Northern War, like and subscribe for more epic tales from history. What event should we cover next? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, remember, history shapes us all.